So here we are at really the main attraction at Cranesville Swamp, which is the boardwalk trail that takes you through the actual wetland. Now, when I think of swamps, I think of a wetland that has trees in it, or woody species in general. So there's all different kinds of wetlands, and if we were being more specific, the part of Cranesville Swamp that we're in right now is actually a peat bog. And a little bit about Cranesville and why it's unique is it's often described as being in a frost pocket. And if you think about a frost pocket at Cranesville Swamp, is we're kind of surrounded by mountains. So it's almost like we're in a little bowl. And air will come over the mountains, and at night the cool air sinks down into the bog, and it's one of the first places to get frost late in the year, and it's one of the last places to get frost in the spring of the year. So the growing season here is really short due to the cool climate. And the plants and wildlife and animals and things that have adapted to live here are oftentimes more associated with northern habitats. And many of the species that you see here will be very common in the northern United States, even into Canada. And some of our species, like the larch tree, this is the southernmost place in the world that plant exists. I would say we get, several hundred to maybe even a few thousand visitors per year. We don't have the preserve staffed, so we're not here actually counting the number of visitors, but we do have a logbook, and we get several hundred people that actually sign the logbook each year. And they're from local places, but they're also from faraway places, and it's really neat sometimes to look through the logbook and just see where people have came. So here at Cranesville Swamp, we've been doing a good deal of habitat restoration. Most of the time when people think of Cranesville Swamp, they think of here, right here where we're standing, which is the bog. But the bog is also dependent upon the upland forests that are around it. And so, like many places in West Virginia, the forests were logged heavily during the turn of the last century. But what we've been doing is planting trees, particularly conifers. Some of the conifer trees that we've planted here include red spruce and also white pine. We've also, right now we own about 2,000 acres around here. So some of these areas were in farmland prior to going into conservation, and we're managing those areas so that they can provide benefits to our conservation mission now. So we do have volunteer opportunities, like the students that are out here working today. Because Cranesville Swamp is such a popular place, one of the things that people can do is get to know the preserve and be available to help us lead tours when people come out here. I get requests all the time from different school groups, college groups, different people, scouts, different things like that. And sometimes my schedule allows me to take them out, and sometimes I'm not able to. So if we had more people that were willing to come out and show people around and talk about the things that they know, identify plants and birds and different things like that for the public, that would be great. We also do volunteer tree plantings each spring. So the Maryland, this preserve is managed jointly by the West Virginia and the Maryland chapter of the Nature Conservancy. And we get spruce trees from the nearby Monongahela National Forest. We go and actually dig them out of power line right-of-ways, and then we relocate them here. So we do that on a volunteer basis, so people can come out and help us restore the habitat here. Yeah, so LEAF is a program that the Nature Conservancy has been working on for, probably going close to 20 years. And it started in New York City with the New York chapter of the Conservancy. And the idea was to get students from inner city high schools that have a focus on science and environmental education and bring them out to these areas to let them experience nature firsthand. LEAF stands for Leaders in Environmental Action for the Future. So the idea is to get these students out here and experience nature, expose them to different career paths in conservation. Some of them may not go to continue to be professionals in conservation, but we hope that while they're here, they learn to appreciate nature and the things that it does for people and the intrinsic values that it provides and the sheer beauty of places like Cranesville Swamp, so that as they grow older, they can be active in the community and in environmental stewardship projects.
It's something different than the city. Like, you would never see any of this in New York City. Most of the things that we've seen, we probably wouldn't have never gotten a chance if it wasn't for LEAF. So far, we started removing invasive species that have been outcompeting the native species around here, like the plants, certain ones like the pitcher plants or the autumn olive leaves. And also, we've been hiking. We've done a lot of hiking around the weekends, and we've seen black waterfalls. We've hiked Seneca Trail. and we've done a lot of outdoor stuff. But even if some aspects like being away from home, it's an experience that's worth it all.